Good day, Father Manoj.
Yeah, good day, sir.
It's been nice meeting you now and after a long time and having good conversation. We start with this process of just reflecting on Kandhamal for the last one decade and your personal experience. When did we meet actually in the beginning actually?
In 2009 January we met for the first time actually in Odisha.
That time there was a big crisis, I remember back.
Yeah, there was violence and actually there was no peace those days because the violence continued more than 6 to 8 months and the houses were still burning. People, in January the last killing also took place. Therefore the violence had not yet stopped, but it was continuing, and you came there. We had a meeting and we met.
I am only looking at you. I have seen you in Kandhamal being accepted by the people of Kandhamal, both Dalit Christians and Adivasi Christians. And you have been very strong in terms of giving energy to people and strength to people and to struggle for justice in a very democratic manner. I wanted to know something about your background. How did Father Manoj become Father Manoj today? Your background actually.
So I belong to Kandhamal itself. I am born and brought up there. I have studied there. And in fact, I remember my childhood days when I was studying 6th and 7th standard in Mondasaro ME school. Already in 84 to 86, there was violence which I witnessed from my childhood onwards. Swami Lakhanand Saraswati came with Rath Yatra, it was called as, with a vehicle.
1986.
Yeah. And more than 30 churches had been attacked. And when there was a news that they are coming to attack Mondasara church and school as well, we even from children of the hostel also, boarding hostel, we had to carry one each iron bars as a sign of protection. And that really terrified us. And with that background actually I grew. And we could hear those days itself in other parts of Kandhamal itself, some people were killed. Churches were broken and houses were burnt. This kind of incidents we had. Then in 2008, in between there were in other parts of Odisha there were other incidents that also frightened us, terrified us. For example, in 1999 January, Graham Staines and 2 of his sons, Philip and Timothy, were burnt in the vehicle itself, in the jeep. And in the same year, in September 1999, Father Arul Das also was shot dead. And this kind of incidents terrified us. And just another 2 years after, my own parish priest, Father Lameswar Kahar, he was parish priest of Betikola parish. He also was attacked. He was thoroughly beaten, about to be killed. He was dragged to be sacrificed. One of the Catholic ladies just met and she saved him. In 2004 again, one of the other biggest parish, Raikia, that also was vandalized, desecrated. Even we heard that the police IIC himself, from the local IIC, himself opened the gate and he let the crowd go into the church and demolish the church also. And in 2007 there was violence. Some of the churches were attacked. And in 2008 it was really severe. In 2008, even from my village itself, 7 people were killed, including a Catholic priest. My father was forcefully, he had to return back to Hinduism because the crowd caught hold of my father. They put an axe on his neck.
But he was not a convert.
No, he was not. So
a convert. It was not returning back.
Yeah. He had to say that, okay, I will be Hindu, and he was spared.
Though he was a born Christian.
He was born Christian, yeah.
So in 2008, when the violence took place, what was your role, and what was your reaction? How did you get involved in it?
In 2007, during the violence, I was not present there as I was doing my MBA studies. But I was constantly in touch with Father Ajay Singh, one who was coordinating during the violence. He was director of Catholic Charities and Janavikas. And a lot of relief activities was done, a lot of documentation and legal support was given to the people. Relief and rehabilitation activities already had begun. And in 2008, when the violence took place, I just returned from my completing my studies, and I was part of the relief rehabilitation team. And we started, first of all, when people were in the relief camps, we had to take doctors, we mobilized doctors, medicine, relief, emergency clothes, hygienic kits for women. So all these, along with the nurses and doctors, along with the medicine, we had to reach to different relief camps. And so constantly, although the violence, all houses were burning, but there was no other option. Even I remember there were priests and nuns, those who had to leave Kandhamal, and they fled to save their lives. Those days, I had to take some of the nuns, some doctors, nurses, along with the medicine. We had to go to Kandhamal, to the relief camps, two different relief camps, wherever we had health camps or wherever relief had to be given. There was a lot of risk that I felt those days. I remember when once I was traveling with one or two of our staffs. They were from Hindu community, tribals, but when some of the villages, RSS villages we passed by, they covered their faces with towels. Whereas for me, I never showed any sign of as if I was scared or I was afraid. And with total courage, I had to go to the relief camps and give help and support to our people, especially the victims. Then we provided medical support, we gave them relief support, and a lot of peace building activities we had to start. We had to meet the government administration, district administration. We had meeting with the collectors and with the collector and with other, as per his guidance. We also met different BDOs, block development officers, and Sarpanch. Gradually, within 1-2 months, a lot of peace building activities had to take place. First of all, peace meetings were conducted at the district level, where from both the communities, community leaders were called, civil society people were called, and then we had to reach to the villages. We had to negotiate almost from the relief camp to the Christians, the victims, those who were there, and in the villages, the people, those who attacked. In fact, the culprits, they themselves also were there. We have so much sad to say that the people, the culprits were saying, unless the Christians become Hindus, they cannot come back to village. They have to be Hindus, only then they can enter to the village. It was difficult to convince the people to file cases. Although they had filed more than 3,300 complaints, but out of which only about 820 FIRs were registered. Out of 820 FIRs, 518 cases were charge sheeted. Out of that also, only 247 cases were disposed of. Out of 30 murder cases, only in 2 murder cases conviction was done, and that also in very lesser.
They were released.
Yeah, they were released. Therefore, what I could see is the police, the advocates, or all the government officials, all were from that VHP ideology. There were none those who were from Christian community. Therefore, the support was only given to the culprits. Rather, the victim supposed to get justice, but that was not happening. we had to really struggle to get justice. And as per the study conducted by Brinda Graver and Soumya Uma, the Supreme Court judge and the law professor, in fact, just only 1% justice has been given to us. Otherwise, only acquittals and no convictions. That I experienced, which is really painful for me.
What about the innocent people in jail?
There are 7 innocent people in jail. Even during the violence, there were more. Those who were taken, like Jacob Pradhan from Bogadi village. A few of them were taken, but they were left. And later on, 7 people are taken. They are still in jail. It is more than 10 years. They are still languishing in jail, but they are innocent. Because with confidently I can say, during the violence itself, when the violence took place, Sabyasachi Panda, Maoist leader, he is himself from Brahmin community, and he himself said that it is we who have done this. Therefore, it is not the Christians, but they are innocent, but they are there in the jail.
What is your work on releasing these 7 innocent people? They must be released. It's more than 1 decade, and guilty people are not in prison, and innocent Adivasi Dalit Christians are in jail. What are the efforts to release them?
Yeah, that is true. The guilty people, the culprits, they are roaming around scot-free. They didn't even stay for a little long time in the jails, but with bail they came and just they are scot-free. Whereas innocent people, those who are in jail, we have been trying a lot with different groups. Civil society also is taking some initiative.
In Kandhamal, the Survivors Association has been there in almost every village where people are affected. And you are one of the main leaders of Kandhamal Survivors Association. So, how did you build it up to such an extent that every year around 5,000 to 10,000 people come to in one spot, come to an area, even Rakia, I remember, with the hardcore RSS area, you organized a big public meeting to build the confidence of the survivors. That process, could you please explain? How did you do it?
Yeah, we had to take the support from the people itself. People are victimized, and so it is issue is theirs, need is theirs. Therefore, the people themselves had to take lead of this Kandhamal Survivors Association. Therefore, what we did is, in the beginning, just with a lot of peace building meetings and other coordination meetings we used to have. We had also interdenominational meeting with the top level leaders like bishops and other leaders. After the meetings, actually we decided that we could continue demanding for our rights. Unless we demand for our rights, we are not given. In spite of demanding, we are really discriminated. Our rights are not given to us. There are a lot of provisions and entitlements which are forbidden to us almost, because even once we become Christians, there is no employment. Once we become Christians, no scholarship is given to us. Scheduled caste status is denied to us. So with all these issues, and in 2007 and 8 violence and constant violence that took place, that motivated our people to be united. Then we had to unite and select the leaders, especially from the Survivors Association president, secretary, and there are other members, and the responsibility was given to them. And every month they were coming to a place to sit and to discuss how, with regard to relief, with regard to rehabilitation, with regard to peace building process, with regard to justice efforts, how we could support. So therefore, people themselves were convinced and they wanted to take lead also. Therefore, the responsibilities was handed over to them. Then with constant meetings, actually, we tried to capacitate and strengthen the Survivors Association. We tried to build the capacity of Survivors Association members, and once the responsibility was given to them, with a little bit of inspiration and motivation, they started themselves organizing, coming together and deciding on the celebration of the Kandhamal Day. Observation of Kandhamal Day. It is usually every year from 25th August to 30th August. In one of the days, it is observed in different block headquarters or district headquarters of Kandhamal. We continue demanding for our rights. We also have met Minority Commission. We have asked him to ask the government so that the government listens us and gives us just compensation. The 7 victims, innocent victims, could be released, and the houses, those who have not built their houses, could be rebuilt till now, even till now. So this kind of issues we continuously demand, and we put forth before the government with memorandums, meeting various other commissions, other officials, even to the governor, even to the chief minister, but till now nothing has been happening.
Now the thing is that you spoke about your father, on whom axe was kept, and say if you don't become a Hindu, you can't survive here. And 2 years he became a Hindu just for survival. Yeah. And I think I met around 12 people like that in Kandhamal. Yeah. Everybody was threatened, if you don't become a Hindu, you cannot survive here. And all of them, today I find they are going back to the churches actually. Initially hiding and go to churches, and now they are coming back. So you cannot threaten somebody to become a Hindu or a Christian or anything else. That force is not valuable. But in my experience at that time it is 12. Then I found out that it is much more, many were there. What is the calculation of forced conversion in terms of number? Yeah. How many have been there? Yeah. And what is their status today?
Okay. In fact, we made a study from village to village, and even during those days in the relief camps, there were more than 2,000 people, those who had been forcefully converted into Hinduism. And few of them, a good number of them have not returned even till now. They have not been Christians even till now, because I know few of them personally. And there are so many those who return back to Christianity, and they are practicing their faith. But there is no freedom at all. I can see people are really with total insecurity, and there is no normalcy. They cannot pray in their churches as they could pray earlier, and because of that there is a lot of migration. People have to leave their villages and they come. Freedom of religious act, but we feel that it restricts our freedom. It says no person can convert. In fact, conversion is a natural process. It is a constitutional right, as one is free to live and practice their religion or their life, as one can even vote freely. So also one can choose whatever religion, whatever faith one likes. All have their conscience. Only animals cannot decide, whereas human beings can decide. Therefore, we are free to decide whatever food we like to eat, whatever clothes we like to wear, or whatever religion we like to practice. So Constitution, actually Article 25 also allows us. So also Universal Declaration of Human Rights 18 also tells us that we are free to profess and practice any religion that we like. Even to issue a caste certificate, the government officials, Tahsildar, demands the people that he wants recommendation from the RSS Kui Samaj leaders, which is a BHP wing. Therefore, we are not given our rights, and we are really discriminated and prohibited even to get our rights. And during Kandhamal violence, there are so many instances where we have seen people, those who denied to change their religion, were killed. For example, Pastor Samuel Naik, he was reading the Bible, and the crowd, when they attacked him, they said he has to burn the Bible. He said he cannot burn, and then he was thoroughly beaten, and he was killed there, and he was burnt. Unfortunately, his mother, one who was handicapped, actually not able to work, also was there, and even in the same fire, even the mother also was burnt down. So both mother and son were burnt down, just because Pastor Samuel Naik said he cannot leave Christianity, but he has to accept. He had to accept Christianity, and he had to give life. So also the example of Parikshit Naik and Rajesh Digal. Rajesh Digal was carrying Bible in his bag, which was seen by the RSS people, and then they beat him totally, and they dragged him to almost a kilometer. Then he was burnt alive. He was buried alive. The culprit said, "Let your Jesus come and raise you, resurrect you." The same experience of Parikshit Naik in front of his wife and both the children, small girl children. The people killed him. They asked him whether he wanted to be a Hindu, then he will be spared. But he said he wouldn't be a Hindu, and he was killed there, and he also was cut into pieces. In that process of struggle, there are so many, even from Bhubaneswar itself, from Odisha, like Dhirendra Panda, and there are Mahendra Parida. There are so many Hindu friends, those who also support in a struggle, and they stand for the justice process. Therefore, in Kandhamal we have seen those who have stood and they have raised voice for us, for our sake, that those who have attacked us, they have not done justice also. This kind of friends also are there, those who have given us support.
And how about the martyrs of Hindus who standing with Christians also were killed?
Yeah. For example, Dasarath Pradhan from my village itself, he is my cousin. He said, why are you doing this? And just because he said that much, and he was attacked and he was killed also. So there are so many who have been martyred because they spoke what was truth, what was justice, and what was right. But unfortunately, they were also killed. There was a girl, one who was raped just because her uncle denied to be a Hindu, and because of that, she was taken revenge. And before raping her, the culprit said, your uncle is Christian, therefore we are raping him.
Overall, when you look at the whole experience of Kandhamal, your Survivors Association has become very strong.
Yeah.
That much I can say.
Sure, yes.
And I do not know. My reading is that no more Kandhamal violence of that sort can take place because Kandhamal association has become Survivor Association has become very strong and getting national support also. What is your reading on that?
Although we also feel that there are so many culprits, from the part of culprits also, they also comment sometimes that it was a mistake, we have done mistake. So there is a kind of realization from part of some of the culprits, but at the same time I also doubt, because considering the present context, present situation, I doubt whether there is really normalcy. In 2009 and 10 we could see very big number of youth had gone mad actually. Why? The reason we do not know, but what I have heard from others, that to break the houses or to kill Christians, they were given some kind of medicines or drinks or what they were given, we do not know.
Now, how do you wish to proceed further? What is the challenge? It's already one decade of Kandhamal is over.
Yeah.
Insecurities are still there, demands are still there, demands for justice, compensation, everything is there.
Yeah.
The churches which are destroyed have not got the compensation, houses which are destroyed have not got the compensation. People who are killed, most of them are not in the compensation list.
Yeah.
And innocent people are in jail. The real culprits are not arrested or they are not in jail.
Yeah.
So how do you wish to proceed further after one decade?
We continue putting forward demands in front of the government. We would also like to continue fighting for to get justice, at least for the release of 7 people, and also the victims, those who have not got justice even till now. Cases have to be reopened and the justice process has to continue. We also continue demanding for just compensation. Compensation, whatever we have received, the victims have received, is not enough, because the way it had been, their houses and belongings, everything has been destroyed. Compensation has not been enough. I hope unity and cooperation, solidarity from all kind of victims. In fact, there are from very different religions, people have been victimized. For example, even Muslims are victimized, Sikhs are victimized. Therefore, the support, unity, cooperation of Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, women, Dalits, tribals, and linguistic minorities, the sexual minorities, religious minorities, all of them have to come together, and they have to unitedly they have to fight. And so let all marginalized and persecuted groups unite, then only there will be change in India. That's what I believe.
Thanks. One last question. You are a Christian priest. Not too many priests struggle for justice in even democratic manner. We have been going on like that. What is it that motivates within your Christian faith, Bible or Christian faith or Jesus Christ, to fight for justice?
Yeah. In fact, Jesus himself also wanted to establish a kingdom where there will be unity, equality, justice, truthfulness. Therefore, the values of Jesus itself encourage me to continue to work for justice and truthfulness, so that justice is established and people get their rights. In fact, Jesus was always in the side of the poor and marginalized. Therefore, when we see there is injustice going on, people are attacked, people are persecuted, there is justice is not given to the people. Therefore, that itself calls me to be more than a priest. It is not only doing religious activities, it is not only prayers, but it is more than that. It is to be in the side of the marginalized and poor, those who are not able to get justice.
As an atheist, I would say God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.